here.
In this.
Hey, hi everyone, Jim here, and welcome to television. Now, I'm not talking about television in the sense that I'm in this box here. What I'm actually talking about is how to tell a vision. It's a process to tell a visual story in a very natural way. And it's also my session for Mindcamp this year. But the really cool part is that I'm going to be able to show you how to do animation and a soundtrack for your visuals with no technology at all. Come on along, let me give you a quick inside tip right now that you can start to use before we ever even get to Mindcamp. Come on along, let's have a look together.
Okay, here we are at television with our top #1 tip before we go to Mindcamp. So television, well, it starts off with the tell component. What's that mean? Well, what it means is a soundtrack. You need to have a soundtrack when you're telling a visual story. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean music, it could, but more often than not, what it really means is just using your voice. Make sure you talk to your visuals. The second component is A in television. That stands for animation. Now, what do we mean by animation? Well, let's think if we have a bunch of people and we're trying to explain a concept to them and it's a little bit fuzzy. They're in a cloud over it. They can't get your idea. Well, one of the things you might be missing in your visual storytelling is some animation. And that animation means, well, pointing and gesturing and touching whatever it is, the visual, for example. People will migrate to that and they understand what you're talking about. So animation is to make sure you use your body, use your hands to tell the story. It's very, very important. The next piece is vision. And vision is, well, just that. It's the vision you're trying to portray. It's the pictures that you're trying to do. And, pictures are important, obviously, in visual storytelling. And drawing is a really easy way to get those stories across. And drawing just simple images is really very effective. It doesn't need to get complicated. However, a lot of us are a little bit uptight, maybe a little bit scared about doing drawings. So what we're going to do in television is, rather than have you sit there for hours and think, how am I going to draw something and brainstorm your brain out, what we're going to do is going to show you a simple system that makes you into a super visual thinker. It's something called the visual thinking loop. It's a process that I've developed to show you how to lay out a visual story. We'll take you through that process, this iterative loop process, and when you're done, you're going to be a super fantastic visual storyteller. Well, there we have it. There's the basic components of television. We have tell, vision. And remember, though, that they're all linked, and you need to do all three to tell a good visual story. They all make up a pyramid, and without one leg of that pyramid, the story just doesn't work very well. If you do it, people listening to you are going to be really happy when they hear your story. So, there we have it, folks. Looking forward to seeing you at Mindcamp and talking more about television. And before we get to Mindcamp, make sure, if you're doing a visual story, to tell